In this video, I'd like to talk about my answer to Lab 8.2. So, as you know, Lab 8.2 had you go through and create a constructor and add attributes for the first and last name of the person class. So, I went ahead and made a copy of the Lab 8.1 and called it Lab 8.2. And now what I want to do is I want to define my constructor. And like I said, it's not cheating to go ahead and look at some existing code, so you may have actually just gone through and copied this out. If you did, that was perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm even going to do it myself. What the heck? The only thing you had to remember is that you have to modify the code that you copy and paste. Nothing wrong with copying and pasting to get started, but you have to be, you're now responsible for the code as it is. So last name is what I'm going to add, and then I'm going to go ahead and say self dot last name equals last name. Now, because it's got self in front, it knows that this is dealing with a member of the class, a field, and even though these parameters have the exact same name, exact same text, it doesn't get confused by that. Interesting, huh? Of course, you don't have to call it this. You could have called it last name, and it wouldn't have made any difference to Python. I don't prefer that, but that's just the way it is. So if you did something like that, that's fine. I kind of prefer keeping the names the same, but other people don't, so it was really up to you. Okay, I think that's that part. Now we just have to test to see if it works. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take Bob. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Bob in there, comma. I'm using the control drag feature. Left click, then hold down the control button, left click and drag. And if I do that, I don't need to set these, so I'll just comment them out. Now let's go ahead and run it. And you can see I've got an error message here. And what's happening is that when I go through and I try to make the second person object right here, I didn't actually pass in any arguments. And as such, it gave me an error message saying that the constructor is missing the two required positional arguments, first name and last name. And that's exactly what should be expected. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing, control drag. And then I'm going to do something else here. Change to Susan Jones. And you can see that it actually prints out Susan Jones. That's because even though you can use a constructor to set some initial values, they can be changed later on. In fact, this is part of the initialization process. You initialize a new object with some values, but later on you can change them if you wish. Anyway, that's how I would have handled Lab 8.2. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. And next up, we're going to take a look at more details about these attributes, what they are, and how you use them. I'll see you in that video.